Hello everybody and welcome to another A+ 1101 lesson with a practice quiz at the end focusing on this specific, trying to get my chair right, exam objective. So in today's video we're going to be focused on exam objective 5.3. I'll tell you everything you need to know about this particular exam objective, every single one of the dot points and sub dot points within this exam objective, and then I'll give you a quiz at the end to make sure you're ready for your exam, give you the confidence that you need to walk in there and smash it. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. Starting off with LED status indicators. So if your drive has consistent LED activity, that means your disk is probably trying to read information repeatedly over and over and over again, but it's struggling to do so. So that's what that's going to indicate, right? So consistent LED activity is going to indicate it's struggling to read information from the drive, but oh boy, is it trying. It's trying its best. Grinding noises. We actually discussed this in the last one as well, but I'm going to discuss it a little more specifically again because it's in the exam objectives. A grinding noise coming from your PC could indicate, just like last time, an issue with your hard drive, your fan, your sound card. A grinding noise from the hard drive means it's probably failing and you should back your data up as soon as you can. As I said in the last exam objective as well, as soon as I'm hearing a grinding noise, I'm backing up my stuff straight away. I'm not like, oh, let's confirm it's from the hard drive first. No, just back it up right now and then confirm after. We don't have time for that nonsense, right? And then you can start to investigate. One way to potentially identify exactly where the grinding noise is coming from, if it's not obvious from a loose component, is you can disconnect particular components one by one and then turn the power on and see at which point does the grinding noise stop, right? That's something that you could potentially do. Now, that's it for that, really. The other kind of noise that you'll have to worry about is a clicking noise or a clicking sound coming from your hard drive. If your hard drive is making a clicking sound, that's gone, buddy. It's time to bury him in the backyard, have a little funeral, because he's gone to a better place now. That drive is gone and there's no going back. That means your hard drive is dead. D-E, dead. Yeah. Bootable device not found. If you receive a message telling you that you have no bootable device, your bootable device was not found, you'll also likely get post beeps for that, right? Because that is an essential piece of hardware. We covered post beeps in the last exam objective, but it's an essential piece of hardware that you need, so you're probably going to get post beeps for that as well. Your first step should be to make sure everything is plugged in. If you got a hard drive, maybe the cabling's a little loose, so it can't actually find out that the hard drive does in fact exist. It's not plugged in properly. That's always going to be step number one. Next, make sure you've set the correct boot order in the BIOS. If you have the wrong boot order, your device might be trying to boot from something that isn't actually meant to be booted from, and your bootable device is actually the next one down. Just reset that boot order so that it's going to work properly. This particularly may happen if you have recently inserted a USB and your BIOS might be thinking, oh, I'll boot from this new device. And it's actually like, no, boot from the device you've always been booting from, please. You might have to go in, reset it. Potentially that could be an issue there. If all else fails, try the drive on a different computer in order to do that process of elimination, right? Take the drive out, put it in a different computer. If you have the same issue, it's going to be the drive, right? Process of elimination. The next one is data loss / corruption. So the best way to avoid data loss or corruption is to keep a backup of all important data. Always keep a backup of everything, particularly if it's important. There are companies that can help you recover your data, but it is never guaranteed. You're never going to have a complete guarantee that you can get it back. Always assume you can't get it back and always have a backup somewhere else. One as a physical copy, one on the cloud perhaps. Always have a backup somewhere. Please do it. I beg you. Save yourself and everyone a lot of hassle. You don't have to worry about losing your data. Everyone else doesn't have to hear you cry about losing your data. It's better for everyone. Next one is a RAID failure. So the RAID manager can tell you the status of each individual drive within a RAID array. It will also tell you if one is likely going to fail soon or if one has failed. So if there is a faulty drive, you may need to replace the drive itself, but just take into consideration for the sake of your exam, you'll need to know that the RAID manager can tell you the status of drives within a RAID array, right? So it can give you a bit of a heads up as to what's going on. Are they all working properly? Is one likely to fail soon, right? You can get that information there from the RAID manager about a RAID failure. Self-monitoring analysis and reporting technology, or a SMART failure. A SMART provides detailed information on storage drives. It can inform you when there are problems with the drive or when it thinks problems will arise in the near future. So this one's giving you a peek into the future, giving you actually a chance to preemptively do something. Oh, hey, this drive's not looking too good. Maybe I can start to take preemptive action to sort this out before it fails on me. When you receive the message, you should ensure you have a backup of the data and replace the drive, right? So if you're getting an update from the smart system and it's telling you, hey, this drive's about to fail, or it will likely fail, we're starting to see indications that there's going to be issues, you should already have a backup, always have a backup of your data, particularly if it's important, of course. Take that backup, replace it, boom, you're good to go. Easy, no worries. Extended read/write time. So your disk might take a long time to read and write information. It might be taking a little while. This might be due to fragmented data. Maybe the data on the drive itself is fragmented. You can simply defragment your drive to solve that issue. Or you might have low disk space as well, which could be causing that to happen. In which case, just free up some space, man. Get rid of those extra cat pictures. You know, put them somewhere else. Print them out. Keep them in your basement somewhere. You don't need them on your drive all the time. It's stopping you from doing your work. Get some control of your life, man. All right, so those are some things that you could potentially do to fix that. IOPS, not the ops, you haven't found the ops, the opposition. No, IOPS, the input-output operations per second. This is the total number of input and output operations per second, and it's a way to measure how well data is being read and written to and from a drive. So basically, you know, we're inputting a certain amount of times per second, we're outputting a certain amount of times per second. You know, this is how quickly we're actually sending and retrieving that information. That's what IOPS stands for. So you might get a question on your exam like, Bethany is trying to understand how quickly her drive is reading and writing information. What measurement could she use to do this? It would be IOPS, right? Input, output operations per second, right? That's what you might have to consider for your exam. Missing drives in your operating system. If your device isn't not recognizing a drive, you've got it there, but it's just not being recognized, make sure you check the cables are plugged in properly, right? That's a common theme. Again, just make sure it's plugged in, please. Always step number one. Or the drive is properly seated in the motherboard, right? Make sure it's actually seated properly in that motherboard. It might just be a physical connection issue. If the missing drive is a network share, you might need to remap it, right? You might need to actually go in, remap the drive just to make sure everything's working all right there. Start the process again, remap it, and then we'll be good to go. Time for some questions. But before we get there, time for a word from our sponsor. Hey guys, I'm just here to tell you that the A+ 1101 learning package with the practice exams, the learning guide that people are absolutely loving, and the performance-based question simulation is on sale for the next 3 days, and that is on sale for $50. So you're getting $25 off only the next 3 days. If you want that, go grab it. All right, let's go back to the questions. Okay, your first question is, after taking your device to a local technology repair shop, they tell you that based on the symptoms, your device is likely struggling to repeatedly read information from the hard drive. What symptom is most indicative of this issue? A, grinding noises. B, constant LED activity. C, a bootable device not found message. Or D, a RAID failure. Pause the video. If you need more time, we'll go ahead and get straight to the answer in 3, 2, 1. Now, B, constant LED activity, right? We should have got that one. We just went over it. If you've got constant LED activity, it means you're consistently trying to read/write, but you're having a little bit of difficulty doing so. Next question reads, you are responsible for managing multiple drives working together in order to provide uptime and availability for customer data. Where should you look in order to check the status of the individual drives within this configuration? A, the IOPS. B, the RAID manager. C, the BIOS. Or D, the UEFI. Answer coming up right about now. Pause the video if you need to. 3, 2, 1. Answer is B, the RAID manager, right? So the RAID manager is giving you that information for RAID devices. If we come back, we went through this one, IOPS, that's input output per second. How quickly, how efficiently is your drive reading and writing, right? The BIOS, we should know what the BIOS is. That's prior to the OS booting up, the system that is responsible for the necessary hardware components of your device, figuring out if they're all working correctly, and it's that layer underneath the operating system. The UEFI is just the more modern version of a BIOS, right? So these are both BIOSes, but this is like specifically the more modern version of the BIOS. So if you knew what those were, it should have been sweet, but just know RAID manager is responsible for telling you information about RAID drives. Should have known that. We did go over that. Now, the next question is, oh look, even some more information you can read. There you go. The next question is, you have been given the task of checking to see if there are any notifications alerting to a predicted upcoming hard drive failure. What should you check in order to complete this task? A, the BIOS. B, SMART. C, manually check for grinding noises, or D, the RAID array? Pause the video if you need more time. Your answer coming in 3, 2, 1, now. B, the SMART, the S-M-A-R-T. Remember, that's the one that can predict into the future, give you those warnings in advance about whether or not you're going to have an issue with a hard drive. Some more information for you there. Pause to read if you want. I won't read through that right now. Now, if you found this video useful, go ahead and head over to journeytodecipher.com, where I've got my learning guide and 5 practice exams. Here's what people are saying about them. Your notes helped me pass my test today. The guide is really good. It's helped make everything a lot clearer. Your learning guide is goated. It helps with organized information. It helps me piece things together more easily. Thank you so much. I downloaded your learning guide already and can see it will help me immensely with studying. I tried some other popular resources but struggled absorbing the material. Will you have one available for the 1102? You betcha I do, and it's up and ready. So look, if you want to get your hands on my learning guide, practice exams, go ahead over to journeytodecipher.com. I also have my performance-based question simulations for the next couple of days. They are all on special for $25, as you saw in my sponsor earlier in the video. So, sorry, not for $25, $25 off. So if you want some extra help getting ready for this exam, if you don't want to have to go and purchase $30 one over here, realizes that it goes way past the scope of the exam and it's too confusing, buy another $20 one over here, buy another $15 one, just skip all that, just buy my stuff, do it all in the one shot, and you'll be good to go, right? Otherwise, if that's not for you, that's all good. I'll see you in the next video. We're almost there, guys. We're almost at the end of this. You're almost ready to take that exam.